Well, good day to everybody, and welcome to the ISTD session of on the trainer as a coach and a mentor. And I'm so delighted to have with me Arvind Agarwal, who is a great luminary in the field with enormous, vast experience in human resources, in marketing, and also as a CEO of Indian companies and international companies. And will be putting his resume in my presentation, and you can always have a LinkedIn connect with him if you like after the program. Today he is retired and living a life as an independent consultant, and he's very busy, very difficult to get time from him. And his main areas are leadership development and executive coaching. He has been on all sides of the table. So Arvind, would you like to say welcome to our participants here?
Hi, everybody. Great to be connecting with you all. And thanks, Anita, for bringing me on the video today. It's an honor and a privilege.
It's our honor and a privilege too, Arvind, because you have such a vast experience in the HR field. You have hired many trainers, many facilitators, many coaches. You yourself have worn and continue to wear all these three hats as well. And today, as a very senior member of the coaching fraternity with an MCC accreditation, also across the world, I know you are doing coaching internationally. There are just a few questions that I'd like to ask you for the benefit of our audience. Our audience consists primarily of participants, young people who want to be trainers. Some are already trainers, and some are training managers from the corporate sector. And so they would all benefit from your words. So my first question to you is, Arvind, do you think it's a good idea for trainers to also become facilitators and coaches? We've already learned the difference between a trainer and a facilitator and a coach. But according to you, what are the mindset shifts that are needed for trainers to achieve success in the transition?
Right.
What do you think are the challenges and that they will face in this journey?
Well, thanks, Anita, for putting forward that question. And, when I reflect on that question, interestingly, that has been the sequence of my personal professional journey. When I came in the corporate world, my first set of responsibilities were training. Firstly, organizing training program, and then designing and delivering training programs. So I was a trainer. Then moved forward to become a facilitator. Yeah. And in the recent times, I have been wearing the hat of a coach.
Wonderful.
So sequentially, it was trainer, facilitator, and a coach. And regardless to which of these roles one may be playing, but one is always involved with the development, and that is exciting. Whether it's a development of an individual or group of people, you are engaged with the process of development. And in terms of mind shift, if I were to call out, as a trainer, you're connected to the subject you're training the person. It may be a technical subject, it may be a behavioral subject, whatever, but you are connected to the subject. You're mindful, how do I deliver training on this particular subject to my participants?
Right.
And of course, as a seasoned trainer yourself, you know that there are a number of options in terms of pedagogy you may choose, but your focus remains the subject.
Yes.
And you need to have mastery on that subject. You would have prepared well in advance before you get up in front of a group of people, participants. So that's a training where the mind is on the subject.
Right.
Then comes to facilitation. And normally facilitation is a group of people, and there may be a finite agenda, what needs to be accomplished at the end of that event. It may be annual goal setting exercise. It may be building vision for the leadership team in the organization. It may be, so I suddenly find my screen is blank. So,
It's working fine here.
okay, so I'll continue. It may be, as I said, annual operating plan. It may be vision. It may be team building exercise, whatever. So there is an agenda and a precise goal agreed as to why this group is meeting, what is it to be accomplished at the end of the meeting or at the end of the event.
Yes.
And as a facilitator, you are mindful of that goal and you help people navigate their journey so that at the end of the day, they accomplish those goals.
Right.
So you're still goal focused. Of course, as a facilitator, you are aware of the group dynamics. You know about how the agenda is being pursued. You have already got a game plan as to how what will be the sequence of activity to accomplish the agenda. You're mindful of any unstated but underlying underlying, or you may call it hidden agenda that the group may have. There may be issues of conflict. There may be some people who are not speaking, and there are others who are monopolizing the airtime. So, as a skillful facilitator, you are ensuring that you go through all of these and do the landing, which is meeting the goal of the group. So, in terms of mind, besides the end goal, you are equally mindful of the group dynamics,
right,
and the roles individuals play in the group. So this is the first additional piece that comes in from a trainer to facilitator.
Yes.
Now let's take a coach. Coach, in a coaching relationship with a client, the mind is on the client.
Yes.
Client decides which direction to go, what may be the development area, but coach is always in the here and now of a client.
Yes.
What are her or his underlying beliefs, which may be not stated, but it's there. These may be limiting beliefs. And a coach brings in the forefront through his or her reflective questions. And the client ultimately finds an answer as to what she needs to do differently going forward to make the shift. So coach is very much focused on the individual which he or she is coaching. So if I were to summarize at a high level, a trainer is subject focused.
Yes.
Facilitator is focused on the group dynamics.
Yes.
And coach is focused on the individual who he or she is coaching. So those are the shifts that need to be made. Having said that, there is an overlap. A good trainer is equally mindful of the participant dynamics, the group chemistry, what will be the learning style which would be most appropriate for the participants.
Yes.
Likewise, the facilitator is equally mindful of the subject on which the facilitation is being done. So there is an overlap.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because we do know that conceptually there are three different buckets, for being a trainer, facilitator, and coach. And in some of the literature on the subject, it's even described as three different universes, which are mutually exclusive. But in my experience also, I feel an overlap, and I feel that I have to seamlessly sometimes move from one to another in order to be able to, do what it takes in the moment. So practically, in your opinion, in your own practice, how difficult it is for a person to hold these three different roles of a trainer, a facilitator, and a coach, and engage differently with different client contexts. And
Yeah.
do these differences actually blur in real life? Is my next question.
So while roles have tendency to blur, but as a role holder, we have responsibility to make sure that they don't blur. And we hold the brief that we have been entrusted with in that particular situation.
Right.
So as a trainer, you don't go into facilitation and coaching and vice versa. As a coach, for instance, it's very tempting to train, and it appears like a quicker way forward because you know the subject and you can tell a person what he or she should be doing. But that would be no, as you know, as a accomplished coach yourself, that you have to have the patience for client to discover answer and way forward. So there is a human temptation to blur, but you have to be mindful and you have to restrain yourself and stay with the particular brief that you are holding in the moment.
That's so true. That's so true. And if you look at chronicling your own experiences and understanding and reflecting and learning from your own coaching and training, it becomes easier and easier with time. And I do believe it's the maturation process for any trainer.
And
To a facilitator and then to mature.
I come across a lot of coaching situation where client tells me that, look, you have all the corporate experience, you've come from best of academic background. Why don't you just tell me what I should do?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's very tempting for me also to actually tell him.
It happens all the time. Yes.
It happens all the time. So it takes a lot to restrain and not be actually advising the person,
but to get into the coach position.
So that's a a challenge which I continue to face all the time, partly because of my white hair as well.
People look to you for the answers,
so
they giving them questions.
Yeah. And they feel that after all they've engaged me as a coach, so I should give them an answer.
Yes.
And it's very tempting.
That's true. So that's, yes, it is in real life. It's a process of maturation to be able to hold the anchors of being a trainer and a facilitator and a coach, based upon the responsibility.
Yeah, yeah.
So my third question is specifically, our audience is all young people and people on the path of their careers. What do you think are the future careers for trainers as a coach and a facilitator? How do you think it will pan out in the coming years? And what advice would you give to the...
Well, I think fortunately we are at a phase in the world where unlearning and learning is happening at a rapid pace because the world is changing at such dramatic pace. And therefore, to help people unlearn and learn, you need trainers, you need facilitators, you need coaches. So we are at a time in our lives where the demand is huge.
Yes.
Secondly, fortunately, whether you talk about trainer or facilitator or a coach, there are fundamental capabilities which are really sought after capabilities. All three of them need to have very high level of emotional intelligence, very high level of patience.
Yes.
You'd be surprised that in Xerox, when I was there several years ago, when we were looking for salespeople, we used to look for people who have had teaching background.
Exactly.
Not sales background, because we believe that they may have had, bad habits as a salesperson. As Xerox, we will tell them what is the right way to sell, but we need people who have a lot of patience.
Okay.
We have a lot of emotional intelligence, and we believe that teachers have this in great measure.
Wonderful.
So
Very
we used to advertise in so many words that if you have teaching experience, apply for the sales position in Xerox.
That's an amazing best practice for our participants to take away. Yes.
Right. So when you go underneath what the person is doing, the basic leadership capabilities in terms of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, patience, these are in good measure available to facilitator, to coach, and to a trainer. And therefore, they have fungible capability, people capability, leadership capabilities that they may be sought after for many leadership roles also in the organization beyond just the trainer, facilitator, or a coach role. So I think this is a great profession to be in.
Yes. And the whole focus today is on skills and empowerment.
Absolutely.
As the
Absolutely.
way forward for the country and for the world as a whole.
Absolutely.
So yes, the future is bright, and yes, that's wonderful. So I'm so thankful for your words here today, Arvind, as a subject matter expert, as an experienced person, and as somebody who has a great deal of wisdom. I'm sure the participants are definitely going to benefit from this. And I do look forward to meeting you again sometime in the near future.
With pleasure, Anita, and my best wishes to all of you as well.
Thank you on behalf of ISTD and the participants, and of course myself.
Thanks. Bye for now.